It has been a wild first trimester. Let me just tell you straight up. It has been not what I expected, not what I anticipated. It has been painful, confusing, emotional. Again, I do these videos so that you don't feel alone in your journey, because I have never heard of these things that have happened throughout the course of mine, and it turns out that they're very common. So this is why I'm doing this video, and to just kind of document the journey so far. So if you're interested in the first trimester and what has been going on, then please keep on watching. So to set the stage, I'm currently week 9 of my pregnancy, so I'm still not out of the danger zone miscarriage window. That's usually between weeks 1 to 12, so I'm still kind of holding my breath around every day, around every corner, to just make sure that I get to see this little baby full term. I'll start at the beginning of the first trimester and everything that's been happening so far, but I just wanted to outline that you're not alone in your journey if you're experiencing the same things as myself. A lot of this can be daunting and nerve-wracking at the beginning, especially if it's your first baby like it is mine. A lot of the things you're kind of learning on the go, so please don't beat yourself up or feel bad or think that you've done something when in reality your body is just doing what it needs to do in order to get the baby to full term. So just putting that out there, because I've been pretty hard on myself the past couple of days and weeks and months. So I just wanted to put that out there at the beginning, that you're not alone and I'm here with you. Rewinding to the beginning, so my partner and I are actively trying, and we were going to a friend's birthday party on a Friday night, and I knew that there was a night of drinking ahead. So in preparation, I was like, oh, I just wanted to take a pregnancy test just to make sure that nothing is there and that I can enjoy the night. And if there is something, then that's exciting. I took a test and I put it actually in the side drawer of my bedside table just to put it out of sight, because I didn't really want my partner to see right away what the response was, because I was in my head thinking, oh, I'm gonna do something exciting to tell them and like surprise them about the announcement. But anyway, so I went to the bathroom and I came back and I opened the drawer and it said yes with a positive like plus. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is happening. And I actually couldn't hold it in. So it wasn't even, I should not have even just like hid it in the drawer. I told him right away and he was excited and we just cried and we were like, okay, this is happening. Like, it was an exciting time. We went to the party, like he enjoyed himself. I was just nomming on crackers and just kind of enjoying the blissful secret that we were both in, and started taking prenatals and just took the first couple of days to just settle in with my mind and get prepared for what the next couple of months are going to look like. Living with endometriosis, I was always told that it was going to be very difficult for me to conceive, considering the amount of dark spots and imaging that they saw on ultrasounds in the past. So when that news came out that I was actually pregnant, I was really thankful for my body and what it was able to house and to allow that miracle to happen. It was a part of my journey where I never thought that I would get to. I was just really thankful for that response on a little stick. So with endo in the mix, I knew that there was additional complications that might come up. I know that with endo, there is a higher rate of miscarriage. So I was connected to the pregnancy and I still am, but I still, with everything going on, I feel like I'm a little bit detached from the process so far, because it just has been such a roller coaster, with endo being the prominent factor in a lot of it. So the first week and a half was amazing. Like, I felt great. I was eating healthy. I was still exercising and doing all the things I love to do. And then I started feeling in weeks 2 to 6 extreme abdominal pain. And it was excruciating pain to the point where it was worse than endometriosis pain. And if you have endo or adenomyosis, you know the excruciating pain that comes with endo and that pain every month. And this was way worse than that. It was so painful. It would only happen at night. So I would be getting ready for bed around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. on the weeks 2 to 6. And it was extreme pain just across my lower belly, and like sharp pains in my leg and in my lower left side. It was excruciating to the point where I was on the bathroom floor sometimes because I just couldn't move to my bed, and I would sometimes just sleep on the bathroom floor because I wanted to be close to the toilet to be sick. I found that the cramping, no bleeding was happening, but it was just extreme, excruciating abdominal pain that had me almost passing out sometimes because it was just unbearable. And for it lasting that amount of time, I kind of was like, it's not normal, and I don't think it's normal, and I don't know if it's endometriosis being irritated by this new little cute being, like making a home, or if it's something more serious like ectopic or whatever it may be. So I kind of recorded different areas of the journey at the beginning, and I'm sure I'm going to plop some in here, but there was one day where I was on my way in the car with my partner to see our new home, and I had to pull over and we had to call an ambulance because the pain was just too excruciating for me. An ambulance picked us up met us at the parking lot, and I have a video from that previous time and I'll put it in here.
So found out that I was pregnant on Friday, but I've been experiencing extreme abdominal cramping for the past 3 days. I was driving to go see the new house today with my partner, and I had to pull over. We called 911 and an ambulance met us in a parking lot. It came in waves, the pain. So I was like taken to the emergency room, and everyone was very helpful and very kind, and they took some blood work to see to confirm the pregnancy, which it was confirmed. But I have to go in tomorrow morning to get some an internal ultrasound done because they're worrying about ectopic pregnancies, which makes me sad.
So basically the hospital found it was too early, basically. So I went in and I did blood work, and they said, yep, you're pregnant. And I had 800 HCG level, which basically, if you're not pregnant, it should be 0 HCGs. But I had 800, meaning that I was pregnant and that it was still, a viable pregnancy. They rolled in an ultrasound machine, and because I was at I think 3 weeks at this stage, and they couldn't see anything. So they're like, you're just so early, like we can't see anything. And honestly, like the pain you're experiencing, you should not be feeling this amount of pain at the beginning. So they wanted to have me come back in the next day for additional blood work to see if the HCGs were rising properly, because if it wasn't rising properly, then it could be an early miscarriage. And so I went back into the hospital the next day, did the blood work, and it had actually doubled. So it was rapidly progressing, and they were less concerned about the viability of the pregnancy at that stage, but just wanted me to monitor for pain. The problem with endometriosis and pregnancy is that there's a lot of pain associated with it for myself. And some people say that when you're pregnant, you have less endo symptoms. And for me, it was like, it was the other spectrum. It was so excruciating and painful. You can't be taking naproxen or other drugs. There was one that they mentioned that I could take that was safe for the child, but they said it was a pretty addictive painkiller that 1 in 40 individuals are still on today once they've come out of their traumatic experience that required that medication. So I was a bit on edge of like, I'm in excruciating pain, but I also don't want to be addicted to a pill down the line. Kind of buckered down and said, okay, like I'm going to continue with this pain and just see where it goes and kind of go with the flow. But that was at week 3 when I had that first hospital visit. The pain continued, and I started calling my family doctor to check in more often and just say, can I get an ultrasound to confirm that there's no ectopic pregnancy? Because that's where there's an issue where the sac of the baby is actually growing outside of the uterus, and it's often growing in the fallopian tube, which is very dangerous for the mother, and the pregnancy is not viable at that stage. It basically is, while the baby grows, it expands, and then it can burst the fallopian tube, which is pretty dangerous. So Again, it was really early, so they couldn't tell if it was ectopic or not. But I had booked an ultrasound later down the road to have that investigated. But I had a conversation with her that I'll put in here that was pretty jarring and nerve-wracking for me, because she had basically alluded that, again, because I'm feeling this amount of pain at this stage around the 4 to 5 week mark, that the pregnancy was probably not going to be viable. And this is the conversation I had with her.
So just had a call with my family doctor. Very nice chat. Explained that I had done some blood work and some testing, ultrasounds at the hospital, and they found the results, and basically they said that it's too early to tell what's going on because I'm at about 4 weeks, but they said that basically they see a gestational sac with nothing in it, which is normal at this stage, but in the normal spot of the uterus, but they can't rule out ectopic because of the pain I'm experiencing. And she also said that because I'm experiencing this amount of pain at this stage, a lot of people don't even know that they're pregnant at this stage. So she said normally it's kind of a bad sign that I'm feeling this pain early. And usually that means that it's probably not going to carry to term, which is fine. Not fine, but it's like I have to come to terms with it that it's fine in my brain, because I can't think about other options right now. I'm just going with the flow because my brain is like, I'm tired because the pain has like kept me up in the middle of the night. I'm not sleeping, so I have to also look out for my health too. So I'm just sad that this is part of my like chapter book, if that's the case, because you advocate so much for change and for endo, and you feel like things are moving along. And I said, like, is this caused by endo? And she said, well, it is a factor. So I'm like, I'm mad at endo, and I'm just tired. I'm like, why don't we have support yet? Like, why don't we have mechanisms in place to like figure this out? So anyways, that's me, and it's okay. If you're going through it too, I'm here with you. You're not alone. And I do these right now to look back and see how far I've come, and to look at the pain points and say, the journey has been hard, but the wins have been so worth it. And I know that a win is around the corner for me and my partner. So we just sit and we pray, and we just are thankful for the little things, and remember the times that are hard, and see how strong we are through it.
So having that conversation with her was obviously jarring, and I in my head was like praying a lot, and you just don't know what you can do to your own body to like help it continue in a proper way. So I just continue to eat properly, take my multivitamins, take my prenatals, drink a lot of water, and go with the flow of what my body wanted me to do. And I was happy to say that after week 6, so I'm at week 9 now, but week 6, the pain had completely subsided. I had a full night's sleep. It was the most amazing experience of my life to have a full night's sleep. And I just felt like, okay, like the pain is gone. It means that the endo is no longer irritated. I'm on the right path. I'm so happy that like it's just continuing in a proper way, and I'm feeling more like myself. Now week 6 was when the morning sickness kicked in, so that was a fun addition to all of it, but it was a welcomed addition for me because I was like, I can handle being nauseous in the mornings. The baby does not like anything flavored, so I was eating crackers and bananas and, you know, Cheerios, toast, butter, like butter on toast, like nothing that had flavor. Chicken was like, get it out of here. Like, I don't want any chicken or any meat. But it was at a stage in the week 6 to week 8 that I was just in bliss mode, because I was like, I'm feeling more like myself. I'm able to, you know, these are normal pregnancy symptoms that you hear about, and I was happy about that, and the development was going on and continuing, so I was happy about that. Week 7, I had my ultrasound that was booked to check for ectopic pregnancies, and at this stage it was far enough along that they could see if there was a yolk sac in the fallopian tube, or if it was at the spot that it was supposed to be in the uterus. And they had basically outlined that there was no ectopic. It was where it was supposed to be, developing properly in the uterus. And I was like, thank goodness, what was that pain? And then they were basically saying that it was most often associated with the endometriosis tissues. So they couldn't say exactly what was related to that, but they said most likely it was endo causing that excruciating pain, whether that be the fluctuations in hormones, but whatever it was excruciating, and I'm so happy that it was done after 6 weeks. Now today, yesterday was a bit of a daunting day because it was another obstacle to overcome. I had gone through the excruciating pain, I had gone through the morning sickness, and now at week 9, I basically yesterday was sitting at the kitchen island with my mom, and we were having lunch, and we were talking about names and the baby and like what to expect, and we're just talking about it, and I felt a gush of liquid, and I was wearing gray pants, and I looked down and it was blood, and I just started screaming, saying like, no, like this can't be happening. And my mom was like devastated, because when you see blood during your first trimester, you're kind of like, okay, it's happening. And I think because it was such a roller coaster to get to that week, I literally was like, okay, this is happening now. Like whatever the doctors have said, it's happening. And I was just devastated. I was like, I've gone through the pain, I've gone through the morning sickness. I kind of just blacked out after like having an episode of like all these emotions come forward. My dad was outside doing gardening, and my partner was at work. So basically I grabbed my health card and we went to the hospital. I checked in, and they, with all the COVID symptoms happening, they're like, are you feeling nauseous, abdominal pain? And I said, I'm feeling abdominal pain and cramping, because it was light cramping. And I said, but I believe I'm having a miscarriage right now. And so I was checked in, I did blood work and an ultrasound at the hospital yesterday. And they basically wanted to check if there was a heartbeat or what was going on. I was there for about 7 hours doing the whole process. And I think in that 7 hours, you just think to yourself, could I have done anything more? Could I have done anything better? Did I do something? Did I walk too much? Did I eat something bad? You go inwards and you look at your body in a really sad way, and you think of the worst case scenario, and then you blame endo again. And endometriosis and myself have like a really complex relationship, because some days I'm like, I'm really proud of myself that how far I've come with endo, but on the other spectrum, I think of endo as like the worst thing that's ever happened in my life, because it's really impacted my dreams and the path that I want to walk down, and my partner's life. It's impacted people around me, it's impacted my energy levels. So like, you sit there by yourself in the hospital room and you're like, I hate my body right now. And this is the part of the journey where I just hated my body yesterday. I hated it, and I hated endo, and I just was just sad, because I'm like, okay, like back to the drawing board. And I was scared because of the excruciating pain that I felt at the beginning. I was like, I don't know if I can go through that again. I don't know if I'm like ready to take that next step again to like get pregnant in the future, or go through that excruciating experience, or go through what I'm going through again with a miscarriage, is what I think I'm having. So 7 hours of that in your head waiting for results, it's an awful time. So and I was still kind of bleeding while at the hospital. Anyways, the doctor came out and basically said, great news. And then all of that thinking in your head is like, what? Sorry, like I just kind of grieved for 7 hours and now you're saying it's okay. So basically they said that there's still a heartbeat, and that was the first time I had actually been told that there was a heartbeat. It was at 162 beats per minute, and that was really exciting to see and hear. They said I'm at 9 weeks, 0 days gestation yesterday, and that I have what's called placenta previa, which is basically where the placenta is growing below the yolk sac, and it's blocking the cervix. So like, or it can be partially blocking the cervix. So that can be pretty dangerous in the 3rd trimester, because when you're actually ready to have labor and delivery, the baby's actually blocked by the placenta and it actually can't exit the cervix properly. So you would need to have a C-section, and if it actually ends up pushing down, it can be really dangerous for both the mom and the baby because of excessive bleeding and other complications. So he said the good news is that with placenta previa, oftentimes in the 2nd trimester, it adjusts itself and it actually moves upwards and above the actual yolk sac or the fetus or the baby. So oftentimes it corrects itself. And if it doesn't, you just have a C-section and they remove the placenta, and that's kind of what is happening. They also said that I have my notes here, my paperwork from yesterday. They said I have a small subchorionic hemorrhage, and I was like, okay, so I have placenta previa, and now what the heck is a subchorionic hemorrhage? It's basically a small pocket of blood or a hemorrhage that is between the cervix and the placenta, I believe. I can put a little description here so that I'm not wrong, or in the description box below. But basically that's what's causing me to bleed. I have a small one so that they're just going to monitor it, and oftentimes it corrects itself in a couple of weeks. But I have to really be cautious about the activities that I participate in. So like no Peloton, no running, no like intense pelvic activity, and just be oftentimes like bedridden. So like stay really calm and like stay in bed, and hopefully the bleeding stops. So again, just monitoring. I've contacted my family doctor about that, and I'm hoping to hear from her regarding next steps. But basically it's been a roller coaster. It's been 9 weeks, and to be honest, I hate to say it, but I'm scared to connect to this experience because it has been so tumultuous at the beginning that I just don't want to get my hopes up right away for this to actually stay. And I know that that's like against motherly instincts to have, but I'm like, the process that I've been in right now has been so excruciating and so confusing and so like awful that I'm kind of blacked out, and I'm going with the flow and emotions. And I make these videos to see again how far I come in the process, and to see how far my body has come, and to in a way I hope to reconnect to my body in a positive way after this experience. But at 9 weeks it has been a pretty difficult process. And if you have endometriosis or adenomyosis and have a confusing pregnancy as the same as myself, or have anything else going on, know that you're not alone. And it can be really confusing and really hard. And it's hard because you have a support network around you. But when it's your body day in and day out, 24/7, you just have to like find the positives. And for me, it's like I'm still kind of processing the grief that I had yesterday for a potential miscarriage, and then on top of it, it's actually fine. Like, I think my brain is just so confused. So anyways, I will for sure keep you all updated on what this baby is all about. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video and let you know that you're not alone. It's gonna be okay, and whatever happens in the journey, you're doing your best that you can do. You're doing the best that you can do. And I know that you may not want that chapter in your book. Trust me, I don't want this chapter in my book, but I feel like it makes you stronger and it makes you more appreciative of the little things and your health. And it just puts things in perspective of things that are outside of your control. And for me, it's all out of my control. I can't do anything to adjust the placenta previa. I can't do anything to change the subchorionic hemorrhage. I just have to be easy on myself, limit stress, and just breathe. So with that, I will make sure to update you on the next one.